Hello coders, welcome to update 4.0 of the How to Code Well YouTube channel. This is a quarterly review of the channel, and also I give some announcements of what is going on in the coming months. And there is a lot of announcements that I'm going to be making throughout this video. But first, before we get into any of that, I just want to say a massive thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed to this channel. We are knocking on the door of 5,000 subscribers. I think at the time of this recording, we're at something like 4,925, I believe. And what I would like to do to celebrate hitting 5,000 subscribers is do a live Q&A where I answer some of your questions that you put to me either here on the YouTube channel or perhaps on Twitter. My DMs are currently open, so if you want to ask me any kind of questions in a private manner, then please do so. Now, these questions don't need to be web development at all, and there's no requirement at all about what kind of skill level you're at. Whether you're a junior or a senior, whether you're a DBA or a manager, that doesn't matter. If you've got a question that you want to ask me, then do let me know. So Twitter or here on the YouTube comments. But like I've said, thank you ever so much for subscribing to this channel. That is an enormous amount of people learning to code, and the contributions have been fantastic. The suggestions of what courses to do in the future, the suggestions and comments about different technologies that I should be looking into. That is wonderful. Thank you ever so much for doing that. It has actually driven or changed the direction of this channel as well, because recently I did a poll on Twitter and on the community tab here on YouTube to ask what type of course I should do next. And the choices were Python Pip, PHP Composer, and JavaScript NPM. Those combined polls came to JavaScript NPM being the winner, and we currently have 3 videos currently at this time of recording on JavaScript NPM. So if you're interested in learning JavaScript, interested in learning NPM, then do check out those. I'm going to provide links and all of that stuff down in the show notes below. Now, I'm going to be talking about the courses in a little bit more depth later on in this video, but for now though, let's just talk about some of the announcements coming up. And the one major announcement that I've got is that we now have a How to Code Well podcast, and you can get this from podcast.howtocodewell.net. Now, the content of the podcast is currently the live streams. We have about 8 of them. And the podcast, though, is going to evolve into something like interviews, where I'm actually interviewing, hosting an interview with another web developer or someone that is associated to web development. Or perhaps it could be book reviews. I haven't really decided yet the direction I want to take the podcast. But I know some of you already are listening to it, which is fantastic because it's only been around for about a week, which is fantastic from the time of this recording. The next big announcement that I would like to make is that I've been working tirelessly on a second YouTube channel. Now, this YouTube channel is a highlight reel. It is highlight clips from the live streams that I've done on this channel, because some of those live streams are like an hour long, and perhaps we can condense that down into a smaller clip. So I've been putting that on the YouTube channel, which is How to Code Well Highlights, and I've also been pushing that to Facebook as well. So do check that out, because if you want to listen to the live streams but you don't have time to sit down and listen to like an hour-long discussion, then that's very, very good, because it's broken down into smaller clips. The third piece of news that I would like to say is that we have a subreddit. Of course, it's called How to Code Well. So that is reddit/r/howtocodewell. And I'm going to be posting the videos that I've got here on YouTube, both the highlights and this main channel, plus the podcasts as well when they come about. Now, we can't talk about the podcast without talking about the schedule change to the How to Code Well channel here, because we now have 3 videos a week. The first one is Tuesdays, that is a tutorial. And on Wednesdays, we have a live stream. Now, this changes fortnightly. On one week, we're going to do a live discussion about a particular web development topic. Now, those go into the podcast. The audio from that gets taken. That creates a podcast episode. And on the following Wednesday, we do a live teaching session where I'm actually teaching code live, where you can come in and ask questions as I'm teaching. At the moment, we're doing a JavaScript ES6 course. I've done 2 live teaching sessions already. The first one is JavaScript ES6 constants, and the second one is JavaScript variable scopes. So if you're learning JavaScript, then do check that out. When do these live discussions and live teaching sessions happen? Well, they happen on Wednesdays. Wednesdays at 17:30, which is 5:30 GMT. Now, I announce these things on both Twitter, Facebook, and the community tab on YouTube. So look out for the next live stream. On the Fridays, we do a pre-recorded show where it's a discussion about a particular web development topic. During the previous few months, I've been making communication with different web developers and also people who aren't web developers but touch upon the web development industry, because what I would like to do is have some interviews, and those interviews are going to be on the podcast as well. So we've got a couple of interviews lined up. I'm not going to announce anything right now. I'll certainly do so on Twitter and the community tab here, but there's going to be a couple of interviews in the future. Those are also going to be on the podcast. And again, those clips will be on the How to Code Well Highlights YouTube channel also. And before I move on, I just want to say that you are also invited. If you want to be on this How to Code Well channel, if you want me to interview you, if you've got a story to tell, and everybody has a story to tell, then do get in touch. Get in touch through Twitter. My DMs are currently open, and we'll have a discussion. Now, there's no particular requirement that I'm interested in at all, as long as you are invested in web development. As long as you're a web developer or you're interested in web development, I don't care whether you're a senior developer. I certainly don't care if you're a junior developer. I don't care if you're an SEO expert, a growth hacker, or any kind of manager or anything like that. As long as you have a development story to tell, and everybody has a development story to tell, then come on to this How to Code Well channel and tell it. I'm pretty sure that you're going to be inspiring and making other people think about what they're doing in their development journey. There's going to be some things that they relate to against your story. So if you are a regular viewer of this channel, or if you've just jumped on board and you're looking for a New Year's resolution, then get in touch. Let's have an interview. Let's talk about web development. Now, I get asked quite frequently, how on earth do I fit all of this in? I mean, I'm a freelance web and mobile applications developer, first and foremost. Then we have this How to Code Well channel, and I'm teaching developers to develop. I'm teaching code. I'm talking about web development. I'm very passionate about web development and how the web is changing and evolving and how we are part of that. So how on earth do I fit all of this in? 3 videos a week, plus the highlight reel, plus the podcast, and my full-time job. Well, I must say that this How to Code Well channel does feel also like a full-time job. However, I certainly won't let it impinge upon the freelance work, because, that pays the bills. In terms of the money, and I really don't want to be focusing on the money at all in this video, but I guess in terms of the money, it basically just covers the channel cost. And there is cost associated to this, because we have a podcast to host. We have a domain that we have to renew. We have website hosting. We have equipment that keeps failing and I need to replace. We have the overheads. In fact, the more I think about it, the more I think that perhaps the channel isn't actually sustaining the actual channel itself. A lot of this is coming out, well, all of this is coming out of my own pocket. I guess if you want to support the channel, and if you do, that is fantastic, but I'm certainly not going to push it upon you. If you do, then do check out the Patreon page, and also there's a whole bunch of discounts that I've got down below. I'll put them in all the videos and the podcast show notes, where you can get things like cheap domains, where you can get SSL certificates, where you can get VPNs and so forth, and other hosting. All of those links give me a little bit of a kickback, which is very, very nice. It's not a lot right now at all, but basically, if you want to buy me a beer, then do check out those links below. Now, a potential idea that I've got going forward is perhaps doing some web development book reviews, or system analysis book reviews, or just books about system design, principles of programming, the principles of web development. And maybe in the video I will do like a chapter review where I'm talking about that particular chapter. And I could probably draw some of my experiences into that context. So I could talk about that chapter and relate that back to some experience that I've had either as a freelance developer or a full-time developer back in the old days. Like I said, this is just an idea at the moment. I've read a lot of books about web development. They've helped me navigate my career as a web developer, and they've helped me as well when I speak at user groups, because you can kind of draw experiences from those because you're reading someone else's experience, and you can relate those experiences to your experience and go, oh yeah, that makes sense in that context. So I do think that reading books is fantastic as a web developer. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments and also on Twitter. And I'll kind of announce all these things as they're happening. So we've got an awful lot of content going forward and in different mediums. And I'm really, really excited about this. I'm really excited about having interviews. I'm really excited about doing some live teaching. However, I need to just sort of take a step back and talk about a caveat. And this is a bit of a difficult thing to do, especially when I'm knocking on the door of 5,000 subscribers, which is just mind-blowing to me. Now, the thing is, I'm a freelance web and mobile applications developer, and that pays for the mortgage. We've literally just moved into this new house here. So there's going to probably be times, and there has been times, where I've needed to drop the ball on the How to Code Well channel just because I've needed to work extra hours for my freelance clients. Perhaps there is a weekend that I need to work. Perhaps there is an evening that I have to work. Perhaps there is a morning that I have to work. All of those times are the times in which I do this channel. In fact, this is 13:51 on a Saturday. So this is what I spend my Saturdays doing. Now, I say this whilst we're knocking on the door of 5,000 subscribers, and that is just mind-blowing to me. And it's kind of like my little disclaimer. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to push this content out through this capacity all of the time for the whole of 2019. And of course, clients come and go, and I need to be adaptive to that. So at the moment, I'm a remote developer. I get to work from home, and therefore my morning commute from the bathroom to the office is spent downstairs or somewhere in this house, where I'm coming up with what I want to do with the shows going forward, the tutorials that I want to do, some kind of creative ideas, that kind of thing. But if I have to drop the ball and actually get into a car or a train and travel somewhere, then that obviously is time that I cannot do or use for this channel. So I just want to say that one day I would love it if this channel was able to actually pay its way, and actually I could do less of the freelance stuff and more of this channel. Just imagine what I could get up to if I was doing this full time. That is crazy. But I guess when you're knocking on the door of 5,000 subscribers, you kind of think about these things. You kind of think about what is going to happen in the next 5,000 and all of this stuff. But anyway, I'm going to be talking probably about all of this in more depth during the live chat, the Q&A, the Ask Me Anything, if you like, around the 5,000 subscribers. And I'll let you guys know when that is. It's going to be probably some point early next year because I am an extremely busy freelance developer right now coming up to Christmas. But anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Thanks again for subscribing. This is fantastic. And I will see you again soon. Happy coding, everyone. Cheers. Bye.